Hello everyone, I am going to show you today a very interesting low elo game. I'm playing Yorick, and what is interesting about this particular low elo game is I am versing a Smurf. I added him after the game. It turns out he's a Diamond 1 Smurf, and this is a Bronze 4 game. So that is interesting about this match, and the other thing that's interesting about this match is we have a literal troll in our team. Now, unfortunately, I didn't pay attention to the champ select. I didn't notice the Trundle ADC, quote-unquote, with Smite. Apparently he banned Echo's champion, and if you look up this account, it turns out it's a D ranker. Unfortunately, I didn't look up the accounts this particular game. I was in the bathroom taking a dump after I looked at my champion, so I didn't realize what was happening until it was too late. I'm sitting here now, looking at this whole situation, and I'm like, guys, can any of you AFK so that we can remake this? Because I had already AFK'd the previous game, yeah. Nobody decided to AFK, so I'm like, okay, I guess we're playing this. I'm going to do my best. I know I'm a Smurf. I didn't know at the time Karthus was a Smurf. I'm like, okay, this is a Bronze 4 after all. It might still be winnable with a troll. I just wasn't in the mood to try hard. It's my first game of the day. It's literally 4 AM here. I was not in the mood to put on my try hard bands. I just wanted to, Smurf and relax in lower elo. But yeah, this is how it'll go. I proceed to my lane. I'm already late because I was trying to get someone to AFK. Yeah, because I arrive late, I'm just, my main focus is get as much golden XP as possible, try to catch up in XP with this Shen. The Yorick Shen matchup goes a bit like this. You don't really kill a good Shen in lane. His kit is very good into Yorick. He can block your ghoul damage. He can completely negate it. He can dash out of your W. If he's playing smart, you don't really kill him. All he does is he will play around your cooldowns and completely negate your kit. The way you do win against Shen is he will eventually use his ultimate on his team and disappear from the lane. And the good thing about Yorick is you can turn a freeze into a fast push super quickly with your ghouls. You have very good, well, not very good, but you have very decent pushing power. Now, of course, this is a Bronze 4 Shen. He does not respect Yorick's kit in any way. He wastes his cooldowns, which are defensive and completely negate Yorick. He wastes them, and as soon as I see him waste his abilities, I punish it instantly and go on him, all in him, and he's dead. I'm not really counting on killing the Shen much, but normally in this matchup you go for the plates because he disappears from the lane and you are free to take his plates, which is very valuable. So yeah. Meanwhile, his team, his support Seraphine is top lane for some reason. As you can see, the lack of coordination is extreme in this elo. Jax is not very confident in using his E to stun me and set up the gank. Shen is very slow to respond to the gank as well. I'm just free to back and like no sweat even with a 3-person gank. But it is at this point that I start realizing this Karthus is becoming a problem. He's already 4 kills. He's getting fed way faster than I am in mid lane. and I'm starting to wonder if he's a Smurf or not. At this point, from this point onward, I am under a time limit. Because Karthus is getting fed faster than I am, there's a real chance that he will push mid to Nexus and, you know, win the game that way. I'm not... It is already too late for me to try to 1v1 Karthus, because he's already more fed than me. So, like I said, I'm on an extreme time limit now, and I have to formulate a plan to win this game with a troll and versus a potential Smurf. I see Karthus missing in the mid lane. I suspect he's coming for me. I do make the mistake of underestimating him. I think, okay, if he shows up, I already have my Graves set up. I can just kill him. But as you can see, I underestimate his damage and get completely obliterated. At this point, Karthus is already 9-1, and I'm starting to feel the sweats and the pressure. Yeah, I go back well, I am respawning, and I'm immediately starting to build magic resistance because I acknowledge, okay, Karthus is a real threat. And the only way to beat Karthus is to survive his magic attacks long enough to get into melee range and bonk him in the head with my Q until he dies and with my ghouls. I also know the rest of his team is not really a threat to me. They're not smurfing. Karthus is the only one smurfing. I do not need to build too much armor against his team, especially if I'm getting very fed compared to his team. I don't need to build any kind of armor. I can just, you know, avoid their damage by predicting them, you know, and itemize fully against Karthus. There's not much commentary to do in like the matchup itself. I told you what the plan is versus Shen. He's going to waste his defensive abilities. I'm going to punish it and kill him and get fed like that. I know it's unlikely that I will get fed versus Karthus. So what we have to do to win this, I'm thinking, is we have to realize our main advantage versus Karthus, and that is our split pushing ability. Karthus is a mage. He will destroy our team pretty easily. What he cannot do very well is he cannot push turrets very fast. Nowhere near as well as Yorick can. So we're just going to create a huge amount of pressure in top lane. Hopefully way faster than Karthus can do in the mid lane. It doesn't matter if he kills our team or not. If he's not taking the turrets, he's wasting time. I don't know what Shen was doing there, but I see him standing still. I kill him. Yeah. I'm trying to get fed off these plates, trying to get first blood tower, and like I said, create a huge amount of pressure in top lane. Hopefully to draw Karthus away from mid lane. And if I can draw Karthus away from mid lane, it means he's not pushing to my nexus. It means he's forced to respond to me. And that also means he's not killing my team. And that is a huge win for me, because he's ahead of me, so his time is way more valuable than mine at this point. If I can waste his time, that gives me enough chance to push the objectives without him pushing into my objectives. Seraphine is starting to acknowledge the Shen threat, the Shen being destroyed, and me being a real threat in top lane. So he's really trying to hold the top turret in one piece. Of course, Shen TPs. I try to kill him. I don't really succeed because, well, let's be honest, it's not really a situation in which we can kill Shen right now. So I just back off, get my items, proceed on building my MR, and trying to knock down the top tower. Karthus is still in the mid lane. He only has he only took 3 plates despite how fed he is. He's 15-1. I don't think Karthus realizes at this point that I'm a Smurf. He probably thinks I'm just, you know, random bronze, just winning against Shen. He's doing absolutely nothing to build against me. He is building pure cocky magic damage. No kind of defensive items, no kind of armor, no kind of anti-healing, nothing. Yorick heals quite a bit. Anti-heal versus Yorick is not bad. But I think Karthus is still underestimating us at this point.
Legendary.
Of course, he's farming our entire team in mid lane. Anyone who shows up in mid lane just dies. But like I said, this is Yorick's advantage versus Karthus is starting to show. I took first blood turret, he didn't. And now the race is on. Who can push quicker? He's not really playing the race game yet. He's still running around trying to farm our team instead of pushing objectives. He's having fun. I, on the other hand, know the kind of time pressure I'm in. So I don't even care about killing these guys. All I care about is getting turrets. But if anyone shows and gets in my way, yeah, they die. But I'm not going to do what Karthus is doing. I'm not going to try to chase kills. One very important aspect when smurfing is you are on the clock. You are literally on the clock. If you get fed and you're like, let's say, 6 kills ahead of anyone else in the enemy team, well, I'll explain this later. I want to commentate a bit on what happened there. I got finally Karthus to respond to our top push, and this was exactly what we wanted. We wanted to create enough pressure in top lane to draw Karthus away from mid lane and away from pushing to our nexus. Even if I died there, I knew I was at risk of dying. It didn't matter. It was more important. I don't care that Jax got the kill, as long as Karthus is away from mid lane. That was literally all we wanted, and that is why this was a win. If I had just retreated, then what would have happened is Karthus would have continued to push mid, and I would have backed, and that would have given Karthus more time to take potentially tier 2 turret and even even inhibitor turret.
Legendary.
Terrible, terrible, terrible. I would rather die in top lane and get Karthus away from mid lane. I get back to top lane. I'm building a lot of MR, as you can see. Now, when I built Spirit Visage, I had a choice between Spirit Visage or a very good item against Karthus, which is Force of Nature. Spirit Visage gives me increased healing of my Q. Force of Nature gives me better magic reduction into Karthus, but I opted for Spirit Visage because I'm actually trying to avoid facing Karthus one-on-one. He's more fed than me. I don't want to coin flip that fight. But what Spirit Visage gives me is increased healing for my Q, which gives me better sustain in fighting multiple members of his team, because I live longer in fight, which means I can take out more of his team. So I opt for Spirit Visage instead of Force of Nature, despite Karthus being very fed and Force of Nature being better into Karthus. I kind of know Karthus kit pretty well, and I don't really have to fight him directly. All I have to do is ignite him, get my ghouls on him, and trap him, and let the ghouls finish him off. Which is what happens. I draw Karthus away from mid lane once again. My tier 2 is still in one shape, and I am already working on his inhibitor turret. I'm not commentating much these individual fights. I feel like the winning factor in this kind of game is not the fights themselves, it's the macro decisions that you're making, the overall game decisions on the map. Trundle, as you can see, stole my Grump. I wanted Grump so I can heal a bit more and get my mana and hopefully stay in top lane and continue with the top lane pressure. He steals it, so I have to back. Of course, I rush back to top lane, try to work a bit more on that top lane inhibitor, which would spawn super creeps and buy me even more time versus Karthus and allow me to move over to bot lane and start working on the bot lane inhibitor afterwards. I get exhausted by Karthus, but I'm itemizing against him pretty well, so I do a pretty decent job into fighting him. I think I dodged one or two of his Qs there as well, which ended up with me being alive. I was thinking of doing wolves, but then I realized, red is up. I'm full mana with blue buff, but I have no HP. It's probably a good idea to take red and resume pushing top lane. I'm not going to waste my time with a back here, because remember, time is of extreme essence in this game, and time combined with macro decisions is what is going to win us the game. We do not want to sacrifice 1 second, because we don't have that time. Yeah, red buff plus my Q will just heal me to full. Of course, I was a bit afraid to show up in lane with low HP, considering Karthus could just ult me, but I was confident I would heal fast enough that I would not be in kill range for his ultimate. Karthus is mid, I see him mid. I know nobody else can really stop me from taking turret. I proceed to work on his inhibitor turret. Take his inhibitor as well. He will eventually be forced to respond to back from mid, and that is when I will retreat. Yeah, he's still in mid lane, he still underestimates us a bit. Probably thinks, I won't go for his Nexus, but I am legit trying to go for his Nexus here. I see him not backing, so I'm like, okay buddy, you want to do this? You really want to do this? I will take your freaking Nexus if you don't back right now. So he does. He's forced to back, and when I see him back, I'm like, okay, time to go. I know they're chasing me. I'm like, okay, I still have time to take this Gromp. I have my wall up. I can just wall them off. And yeah. I'm being like one of those, you know how flies are like super annoying? You try to swat them away, they fly away, and a few seconds they land back where they were. Extremely annoying, and that's exactly what I'm trying to be for this Karthus. I will not, if I back, I'm giving him time to push. That is the real issue here. He's going back to mid like immediately. He's not even trying to kill me. He starts to realize that this is a race against time, and if he doesn't push my Nexus now, he will lose the game. He starts to realize that, so he rushes back to mid, kill my team, try to take my inhibitor. I will not have any of that. I will not back to give him time. I'll just go straight for him and try to kill him. Unfortunately, I also die. It's a bit unlucky, but you know, this is bronze. If him and I die, our teams will not do anything on the map. They will just waste time. Look at them. They're not even trying to take inhibitor. They're just fighting because you know. There is no macro in this elo. So it doesn't really matter. As long as Karthus is dead, I can be dead as well. and it's going to be fine. The game just stalls. Meanwhile, our top pressure has succeeded. Top inhibitor is gone. Top Nexus turret is gone. Bot Nexus turret is being attacked by super creeps, and it is only then that his team realized, okay, we need to kill these super creeps. And that is how our pressure works in top lane. And with that going on there, we are free to work on the bot lane inhibitor now. I pop my ultimate because I see Karthus mid, and I want to push this turret as fast as I can. Nobody can really stop him. Like, we're not even going to talk about that, Israel. Just work, you know, just work on this. At this point, I'm instructing my team, guys, you do not need to fight Karthus at all. All you need to do is wave clear. I have two somewhat decent wave clearer. I have Lux, very good wave clear, and I have Echo, also pretty good wave clear. All I want from them is to stall Karthus. Now, of course, this is bronze, so they're still going to fight Karthus. They're going to forget in a few seconds that I told them, okay, don't fight Karthus, just wave clear. But they're doing a good enough job with the wave clear that Karthus is kind of stalled in his push, and he is forced to just interact with my team instead of push freely. Meanwhile, his team is no match for me. I can ignore some of the damage because I'm pretty beefy. I have a huge level advantage over everyone else on his team, and I just continue taking objectives. Meanwhile, through some miracle and misplay from Karthus, my team actually manages to kill him, which is pretty big deal. It wasn't necessary. He didn't really need to die. Our macro decisions were good enough that even if Karthus lived, he was in a bad position, and he would have backed and responded to us eventually, but by then, inhibitor would be gone. With Karthus dead, I know that I have a bit of a window to try to get his Nexus, so I try to do that. Even though I'm low on mana, I'm like, okay, maybe I can kill these guys and take that Nexus cert. Unfortunately, no luck. And with Karthus now respawning, and his entire team being here, I'm forced to retreat. Now let's talk a bit about my decision to go mid lane instead of any side lanes. My side lanes are already somewhat pushed. That is one. And two, if I go to any side lane, Karthus is already mid. We already saw him mid. If I go to a side lane, he has enough time to push my last Nexus turret and potentially get my Nexus and win the game. So I'm forced to respond mid lane to respond to Karthus. It's not ideal. By now I already also built Wit's End, which you don't normally build on Yorick. But I didn't want to sacrifice too much damage by building just magic resistance, so I thought, okay, Wit's End is a good compromise. It also gives me movement speed, which is also pretty good against Karthus Q. Gives me a bit of MR, gives me a bit of AD and attack speed. It's a pretty good situational item, in my opinion. And also Force of Nature, which has increased magic resistance against repetitive kind of attacks. Think Teemo Poison, think Karthus Q that gets spammed, like a lot of bits of damage that get repeated. So you have Karthus Q, you have Karthus AoE, or that's the thing around him that deals repeated magic damage, and he's also building Liandry's, which has the magic burn ticking kind of damage. Force of Nature very good against all three of those. I eventually build that as well. I know I'm split pushing, so of course I build Hullbreaker. But this time I'm forced to respawn mid lane due to his presence here and my Nexus being in kill threat. I don't really want to fight him, but at this point I have no choice but to fight him, or I risk losing the game. He also wastes his wall there, which is huge. I don't really care about Shen. All I care about is Karthus dying. Sure enough, he gets trapped. As you can see, he's not dealing too much damage with his Q, even though he's building full magic penetration. He has Rabadons, he has Liandry's, all very good, strong items against even someone that builds full magic resistance. But it's not enough to kill me. I get in range and I run him over. Of course, Ezreal is here. His damage is completely negligible. He's 7 levels under us. Even with Shen ulting him, you know, he just dies. Karthus is dead, which is huge. Nobody else can really stand in our way, so I proceed to go bot lane and go for the Nexus. Echo is also here, he helps a bit. And yeah, this is the game. Hopefully you guys saw how to carry with Yorick in lower elo. It is not as much about the individual outplays and 1v1s. It is, Yorick is a very macro focused champion in my opinion. Lower elo, you might find skilled players, mechanical players even in lower elo, but what is universally lacking in lower elo is macro knowledge, which is exactly what Yorick excels at. And hopefully this match gave you an insight into how to carry with Yorick against a Diamond Smurf, Karthus. I added him and he said he's Diamond 1 if we're to believe him. Yeah, how to win against a Diamond 1 with a literal troll on your team. Hope it was helpful, and thank you for watching. Bye.